That's better.
Perfection.
Yeah. See there? I just did it just again. Yeah. I need to stop talking like that. I don't know if people.
Do you wonder? So,
I don't know why.
trying
I
to
do.
think about it as well is probably gonna make you do it more, which was the problem with like
100%.
fixating on it. But I wonder, even back in the days where you had, those auditoriums and coliseums sort of thing in ancient Rome. When we went to like in Greece, in Athens, they showed us one of the ones that they went to. It's built out of stone. People would come there and they would speak their ideas for like hours on end, and people would take turns. I would love to be like a fly on the wall in those times and see, did they also have the same problem? Did the Marcus Aurelius, did the other Roman emperors, they have the same problem? Do they still use filler words? Is it just a part of the human brain that we have to link words together? Does every language have its own version of and ah?
You don't do it though, as much.
Not as much, but that is a really hard effort I put together not to do it. And it's actually, it's a detriment. I've said to you before that sometimes we'll have like a clip do really well, and I'll be on fire for it. I'll be really saying what I wanted to say, but I'll use the wrong word, completely wrong word, like almost like a mental slip. I would say communism instead of communist, or I'll say actress instead of singer, and that's because my brain is like complete bandwidth to not use the filler word. I don't know if that's better. My boss at work is a really, really interesting thing, which I think's, it's almost weird when you first meet him, but he would just take these big pauses mid conversation, and he would dominate a conversation with it, because you'll have these like, developers, real high energy type of guys, construction guys. They're like fully hyped up to the max in this meeting, and they're like, yeah, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? And he would just completely bring everything down, think about what he wants to say, and then he'll pick his words perfectly. So that's an option if you want to be really good at your word choices, is that you choose less words. But I don't think that fits your personality, so I think you almost got to lean into the way you are talking.
So Elon Musk does it, where he takes a lot of time to think about what he's going to say, and then he articulates it quite eloquently. My personality, I'm really high energy. You can feel it around me. I've been told I have a really high energy. I'm
Great
loud,
aura.
I'm boisterous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not going to change that. But what I want to change is the way that I convey that with my words. I can have that same loud, boisterous, exciting personality without the use of like and I don't know why I do it, but I do, and it's seeped into my vocabulary, and I do it so often now that I don't even realize, and it's really starting to annoy me.
Do you reckon there's an element of it that's pattern recognition that you're picking up from other people that you speak to? If you speak to a lot of people that use it, they call it like tradie mouth, like when you actually start swearing a lot more than you normally would because
Mm.
you're around. And I feel that sometimes I'm away on site and I'm around the tradie sort of blue collar workers, and I'll come back home and my partner will be like, "Why are you swearing so much?" And I'll be like dropping f bombs and s bombs every few seconds. And I'm like, "When? How did this happen?" And I realized I changed the way I speak to better fit in with the people I was around. So they didn't want to come across as pretentious or condescending to them. So you adopt their mannerisms and you adopt their speech. So there could be an element of that. If you're around a lot of people that use ums and ahs and likes, then you just pick up on that straight away.
It absolutely is that, and I think there's a skill in being able to adjust the way that you speak to the people that you're around, because it makes you able to be welcomed into the group a lot easier. And if you think about the situations that you're in, you have to kind of do that. Otherwise, you do come across as an outsider. And I grew up in Gero, and I went to school in Clarkson, which is a bit Darrow.
Yeah.
And I grew up with that lingo, but it was never how I always wanted to talk. It's just when you spoke like that, it made things a lot easier for you. So I think you and I both have this ability and duality to be able to change the way that we're talking based on the people that we're trying to speak to.
Part of me doesn't want to, though, at the same time. I don't know if you know about this phenomenon, but it's quite hilarious if you think about it. But they've noticed that left-leaning people, Democrats predominantly, they will intentionally use smaller words and speak in like a, it's almost subconscious when they're around people of like ethnic race, or around black people or brown people. They'll start talking dumber, and it's this weird thing that their brains are doing, is like that they're like almost condescending through their word choice. And it's a real problem. People are trying to like figure out why they're doing that. It's like a racist thing that they're doing that. So when they talk around, they'll talk dumber around people of color.
Really?
Yeah, it's an actual rule. It's a phenomenon you can
But
find
no,
out.
no, no.
It's
But
been studied. Like they'll act less knowledgeable on things, so as not to like make the other side feel worse.
do you know, it's interesting that you say that because I find that I had to deal with something similar back in high school. That if you came across as almost too knowledgeable, it was almost like you were trying to disrespect people and talk down to them.
Yeah,
Whereas if you want to fit in, it's easier just to, even if you know, it's easier not to flex on people than to just act as if you don't know, or you feed the information in a way that, oh, I don't know.
yeah, less
I'm just,
certain. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that's how most bully nerd situations happen in most schools. Is that inadvertently by doing well in your classes, you'll make someone who's not doing well feel insignificant or insecure, and then they lash out at you for that insecurity. It's like you think that they're just bullying you for no reason, but you hurt them first, inadvertently, subconsciously, without you realizing you're doing it just by being smart. So it's like there's a constant, constant archetype. But also, Zai, saw that as well, saying, let me think about this. There is a bit of that too. I have a bit of a problem myself in a lot of the professional scenarios I'll get into where I'll be asked for advice on things, and it's like financial implications are quite quite large, but at the same time you want to act like you're knowledgeable, so you don't want to have that pause that's too big, and finding out a really good way to say like, oh, let me have a think about that, or let me get back to you, or let me workshop this. Those are better fillers, and that might be a really good fix for you as well. You don't like that you say and like. Why do you think of better fillers? So I don't know if you noticed this, but when we first started on the podcast, the filler I kept using, could you guess any? Like any phrases of mine stick out to you
What phrases that
that
you
I
use when
use
you're
instead of
trying
or
to,
like? I want to see if you can just pick this one out because I use it way too much. I know I'm using it, and I hear it in some of the clips. I'm like, God damn, I need to stop using that.
I can't think of anything that
It's
comes to the top of my head.
there's something to be said.
Ah,
I do it all the time when I'm trying to think of an idea. I'm like, there's something to be said about the idea of that's equivalent to me saying as I'm thinking about the idea.
I think that's why you come across as more eloquent when you speak, because you say there's something to be said, which gives your brain a little bit of time to stew on the idea. Where I'll say, yeah, like I think
Yeah.
that way.
The exact same thing. Our brains are both doing the exact same thing. I just found like a trick to make it sound like it's a unbroken chain of thought.
Yeah, because in reality, there's something to be said is an unnecessary sentence.
Yeah,
You don't
very
need to say that.
superfluous. Yeah.
You could just pause and then say what you're thinking, and it gives you a little bit more time. But do you know where I think this may have come from? Is it may have come from us when we started podcasting. We felt like we always needed to speak and keep words in the air, where in reality, it actually it's better for us to take a pause like I just did there and flesh out the idea and let the air just sit in silence
Mm.
while I get my words out instead of trying to rush something out and feel like we need to just perpetually be talking
Yeah.
fast.
It's a hard one because you got flow, which is really important as well in any conversation. Like the amount that it flows and ebbs and weaves. There's all those things that are important as well. But then like the quality of the content is the other side of that coin. So how do you navigate those two things? Keep the quality high all the time, but also keep it flowing and not stagnating. Really hard thing to balance.
But
I
that
have a lot
comes
of
with time.
respect. Yeah, it
That
comes with
comes
time
with
and
time because
experience.
the reason right now that our conversation sounds so disjointed is because we're trying to eliminate these filler words, and that's slowing us down. But once you reduce those filler words and it just becomes natural for you not to use them, then that flow will naturally come anyways.
Yeah, I think so. I would just say, like, I know we're still waiting for people to join in. Zion first here, but like, when we started this to where we are now, I think is a very clear line of improvement for me and for you
If
as
you go
well.
if
Like,
you go back and see the initial podcast you're on,
rough,
mm,
like deer in headlights type of stuff. It took like 2 or 3 afterwards to really get going. And as I said, imagine yourself in an interview situation always. Yeah, that's basically what it feels like a little bit. But you don't want that. You don't want to have, and we talked about this off cam as well. We want this to be like an authentic thing that we're both expressing ideas that we hold. When you're at an interview, I don't know about you, but like it's never really your authentic self. You want to show a bit of that, but you're always putting like this weird best foot forward that isn't really you. It's a bit fake. It's a bit phony. You're trying to sell like this product of yourself in an interview. I've been to quite a few lately.
Well, that I always talk about this, that when people go to interviews, they generally dress better, they get a haircut, they'll wear a suit, they'll wear a tie. That's because you're trying to put forth the best version of yourself. Where what I did is, instead of trying to put this phony version of myself forward, I just dress like that all the time now.
Yeah, you became that guy.
Yeah. And now when I'm in an interview, I don't feel the pressure of, do I look great?
Yeah.
This is how I dress every single day.
Yeah. Look, I've been at my company for like near on 7 years now. I can't think of a single time I haven't come dressed in a collared shirt, dress pants, nice shoes, and a belt. Every time. And it's not, no one else does either. It's not like a standard thing. But that's how I dressed for my interview. That's how I dress every day there.
You don't wear the tie anymore?
I don't wear the tie anymore though.
Really? I still wear the tie every day.
I've got so many ties. I should be able to do.
Why do you not wear the tie? What happened?
I get, you know this as well. I get very sweaty. I just don't like being hot.
You are a sweaty dude.
I'm a sweaty dude. So when I'm in like in summer, especially if I've got the tie on as well, I'll wear it, but it's pretty soon I have to loosen it because I'll just get like really flustered, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't get that.
It's the Bosnian
Maybe
jeans,
you're
man,
putting
I'll
it
tell
too
you.
tight on. Maybe it's way too tight.
Maybe it might
Maybe
be,
you need to loosen the knot, but still keep it tight.
I'll think about it. If I get another promotion, it'll be all ties. That's it.
I just
one away.
I just perpetually wear the ties. Hey, I love them.
Zai just said you have to assume the analysis is occurring all the time, and it is. It's subconscious.
It is occurring all the time.
You're
always being analyzed.
And it's not even just like, you know, we have this problem, I think, in our generation. I've noticed this a lot growing up. I was part of the problem myself when I was in my teen years and early 20s. We had this really big push to like love and accept yourself always. That everyone will just love and accept you for who you are. But who you are is a really weird thing to define, right? It's very dependent on how much effort you're putting in. So right now we have this like idea that even if you're putting no effort in, you still deserve love, respect, all these things which should be seen as like privileges based on the person you're putting forward. It's an equation, right? You give your bit, what you put forward, and then you get back from everyone else. We were told that it doesn't matter what you put forward, you deserve all these things all the time. But I don't think that's a good thing to tell people. I don't think it's a good way to look at life. It's all about what you're putting forward. So if you want love, respect, all those things, effort undermines all those. How much effort are you putting into things? Your appearance, your health, your mind even, right? That's what we just talked about then. You woke up to work in a suit with a tie. You know, you woke up early enough, you exercised, you showered, you made yourself look nice. You will get treated better. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing.
No.
That's a good thing. People should be rewarded for their effort. But I feel like when we grew up, we were told the opposite. We were told that no, you deserve it just by being. Being is easy. Everyone's alive, right? The hard bit is what you do with your time.
I actually don't think that you're always told that. I don't think I was ever told just rock up and you deserve. In what setting were you told that?
I think there was a big push about, and the angle that came from it was, you know, everyone just be yourself. The idea was that just being, just existing was enough. That there was these basic things you deserve. You deserve to be appreciated, respected, loved, just for being.
Who pushed that?
There were people who came to my schools. It was all the media we watched. It was just this complete push about love and accepting yourself. It was all about just loving who you are as a person, without thinking about what are you actually doing as a person.
Well, there's
like,
two messages.
They're almost separate, right?
There's two messages there. Loving and accepting yourself is fine. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Despite what your behavior is and how much effort you're putting in life?
Well, those two things aren't inherently interlinked.
I think they might be.
The way that what you're saying is what you offer. So break down the second part of that, not the loving yourself part.
So I think that the effort you're putting into your life in all facets is what should underpin how people treat you.
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with how you treat yourself.
But that's part of it too. Right? This idea that you love and accept yourself, regardless of what sort of habits or behavior or activity you're doing. That's why I'm not sure that's the right message. You know, there's
you've actually said this though, because you've said when you're fat and overweight and you're trying to make a change, you have to love, accept yourself to continue to make the change to become the better person. So there is some of that message.
There is some of that message there, but I think it's gone way too far the other way. Because right now, what we're seeing is a lot of people are getting into that, you know, Well, the example I gave to you was when Mel Gibson told what's his called Robert Downey Jr. He called it hugging the cactus, is what it means to self improve when you're a piece of shit. Like you got to accept that you're an absolute prick, but then you still need to hug the cactus. It's a really good way to think about it, and I still stand by that. You can't have complete self loathing because how do you fix that which you hate? It's a really hard thing to do, but at the same time, to not have any of the hate there, to just think that just you existing is enough. I don't know if that was the right message to send. I think a lot of people's physical, mental health went worse from like the late 90s onwards.
Yeah. What I think you're saying is that you should love and accept yourself if you're trying to do better, but you shouldn't love and accept yourself when you're doing the wrong thing.
Yes. Your effort. And the thing is, well, like, don't look at outcome. Don't just be like, I can only love myself if I've got the outcome I wanted. That's where you fall in a really bad trap. It's effort that you should be judging yourself against. How much effort are you putting into fixing yourself? And that's completely subjective. And a lot of people, only people will know that in their own hearts. Are they putting enough effort in to their lives? Are they just coasting by? Are they not putting enough effort into their relationships? Are they not putting enough effort into their job? All these things, like we can only ever answer that internally. And what is 100% effort for you might be too much for someone else. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's effort should be gauged differently, but you should be assessing yourself and your worth as a person, not just because you exist, but by how much effort are you putting in? Effort and discipline. Those are the things that we should be holding up on the highest pedestal because they have nothing to do with outcome. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire or if you're broke or if you're homeless. It's about discipline and effort. Are you still doing those two things? Then fantastic. In my eyes, you're a hero. Keep going. You know what I mean? Like it's discipline and effort, but we switched away to like worshiping just the very notion of being. Just because you're Louis, that's it. You deserve love and appreciation and all these things. Does it matter what Louis is doing? What's Louis' effort? What's Louis' discipline? Those are more important. Do you know what I mean? It's. I feel like we stepped away from that, and we used to like I think 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s before it was a meritocracy. It was all about what you were doing, what you could do for others, and we just stepped away from that a lot. And now it's all about like
What you can do for
just
yourself.
what you can do for yourself.
And we'll just quickly touch on what Zai said here. This is only the case because our qualities are being assessed against a larger group of people, not wholeheartedly. You have to love and your ability to change and be good, but accept your faults so that you can change.
That's a good way to put it
matters
as well.
always.
That's a good way
That
to
is a
put it
good
as
way to
well.
put it. I'm just going to adjust this because it's still frustrating me that you're not completely centered. And when the clips come around, you're going to be on the.
Do you mean like mentally I'm not centered,
You're
or
not
in the
mentally
camera?
centered,
I
man.
see. I see. No, I get what you're saying there. I think that's a good way to think about that as well, right? So it's your ability to change.
I guess so.
Because I've just seen it. I've
Sorry,
just seen
2
this.
seconds.
No
2
worries.
seconds. I want you to continue your thought. I just don't want you to. It's really annoying me because when I clip these, you're going to be on the very edge of the phone. So now you're centered.
Lovely.
But when you talk, when you sit back, you're not centered anymore.
I'll stay here. I'll stay here. I've got this. It's my angle.
No, because I don't want you to be uncomfortable because you seem more comfortable
I
when
just
you're.
sway, bro.
I know
it's
you're
my
fucking
thing.
swaying all the time. Just
Yeah.
hold on 1 second. Sorry. Context matters always.
Yeah.
Sorry, type that fast. That's all right, man. It's no big drama. I'm just trying to figure out what. Oh, that's why it's not working. So I'm gonna just shrink that. Move you this. No.
Other way
That was
around.
wrong, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
I
shrink
need
the other
to,
side.
I need to shrink this side.
Yeah, and move me across that way.
Bring you there. Go this way.
Yeah, there we go.
Give you some more.
Lovely.
Back.
All right,
And
brilliant.
don't fucking move. No, get comfy. Sit
Yeah.
how you always like lean back.
This
yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
This is my comfort zone.
All right, go on then.
Yeah. No, it's just a hard one. I mean, I'm not playing like I have all the answers here either. This is something I'm just like trying to think about. But it's no doubt, like you can't deny that mental health has gone to absolute shit for our generation.
Yeah.
And the next one coming up as well. Yeah, and also I'd say just discipline in general. And don't get me wrong, it's never been harder to be a disciplined person. There have never been as many distractions right at your fingertip all the time. Like discipline is a freaking premium, man. You hear all those like, male self-help influencers talk about all the time. It is so easy to be great right now. It is so easy.
It is
man.
it is easy to be great
The bar is so low.
because people don't care. They're so like.
But why? And that's what I'm really just trying to figure out. Why do they stop caring? because it's not natural just to have this complete switch off of self-reflection.
Do you know there's a couple of little topics on this subset that I want to talk about.
Mm.
One of them is there's this subgenre of influencers, these gym guys that are they're trying to motivate people by abusing them. So they will like say, "You guys are pathetic. You're not doing anything. You need to pay for my course, and I'm
Yeah.
going to call you up every day, and I'm going to yell at you and tell you what to do." It's this weird
Gee,
subgenre
that's
of
so
motivation
bizarre.
that's come around, and they they go around and say like, it's almost like they're con men. They say, "Don't you want to have this life that I've got? Look at this car. Look at this huge house I have. This is what you need to do. You need to do all this stuff, blah blah blah." It's this weird they they rip into their followers because they're not doing what they need to do, but then they're also charging their followers to get money to
Yeah.
fund their life. It's
Which is
just this
also the
really
most
weird
pathetic
subset.
thing I can think about, right? If you're saying, "Hey, stop being pathetic," but then give me money so I can fix you, that's probably the most pathetic thing you could do
Hmm.
as well. Which is weird. You're making
Kind of.
you're making it weird for that person because even if they get better, then well, you're taking credit because do you know what I mean? Like the best thing you can ever do for someone is like give them all the tools they need to get better, but then step the hell away.
Mm.
Like even if you help them, even if you get them really good, at best, the best case scenario is they live their lives thinking they only got better because of you.
Yeah,
And the
it's
second you step away, they fall apart again. That's not. You have to believe that you did it. But that's why philosophy is so important, and like all the stuff that we go through. I got up on this bookshelf here, and what John Peterson says, he's giving you the philosophy, but it's up to you then to show the discipline, the motivation, the effort.
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm always constantly tied with this motivational stuff because what you were saying about before about people not wanting to self-improve and stuff, it's this weird dichotomy because why do I care if you don't want to self-improve? Like, why should I care? Why should you care? Why
Mm.
do you if you take this idea in a directly related to your friendship circle context, if you try to help your friend and they don't want to do it, why do you even care?
Well, I gave that quote before, which is one of my absolute favorites when it comes to this sort of stuff, which is don't try to make someone better if they're not willing to give up what made them sick.
Hmm.
And that should be applied to all your friends. If your friends aren't willing to stop doing the things that got them in a bad place, don't pull yourself down if they're trying to get them out.
Yeah, I'm constantly tied between. I think the best way to do it is to give someone the opportunity to change themselves. If they take that on, I've had friends that I've helped fix their diet and they've made crazy transformations. I was actually talking to one of them the other day because I work with him. Unbelievable transformation. Went from like 130 kilos. He just cracked 100.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome. That's
crazy. Or
fantastic.
he's close at least, anyways. But I just
It's a
thought,
great feeling when you see that as
I
well.
think it was one. I think he went from 130. He's down to 104 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's impressive. I've seen the transformation. He's getting props from everyone. I love seeing that kind of stuff. And we were talking about the topic of, when I was fat, Louis, and he was talking about when he was fat as well. And there's this illusion that you can say, I'm happy. No, I'm happy with this. I don't care that I'm fat.
Yeah.
But there's this underlying thing inside of you that knows that you're actually unhappy, but you're tricking yourself into it. It's such a strange thing because when the reason I'm talking about this is because it was when you're talking to someone and you can tell they're not genuine. And I think it's a lot easier to tell when someone's not genuine. And I couldn't put my finger on exactly why you can tell when someone's not genuine. But when you speak to them, when you and I speak to each other, I think you notice that I'm speaking to you genuinely.
Yeah.
But when you speak to someone that's putting on this facade of being genuine, there's like this internal alarm bell that goes off in you. And
Mm. They
I
don't mean what they say,
but
or at
you
the very
can
least, they're not living what they say that they're.
not even not that they're living, but when you run into someone and you can just tell they're fake.
Mm.
Why do you what do you think that is? There's something you can tell, right?
Yeah.
You can tell that there's this gut feeling. Do you know the gut feeling that they talk
Well,
about?
I've got two possible solutions. One that I tried to talk to you about before, which is actually really fascinating. It's one of my favorite sort of topics to delve into, and it's some of the tree stuff down
Tree of
here.
life, yeah.
Sure, but basically the idea is that when you have a conscious thought, if you fundamentally break down what is happening, that is just electricity being sent through your synapses in your brain. We know when electricity passes from a point to a point, it doesn't perfectly conduct. Some of it escapes. So your thoughts, when you have them, are escaping your skull. They're not perfectly being transmitted from side to side. 100% they're not. Is it escaping as just this pure, unfettered energy with no possible information attached to it? Or does some of your intention, does some of your insinuation leak out through the energy that leaves your skull? And if we've evolved as a social creature, would it not then make sense that we can perceive that
You can
on a
pick up
subconscious?
vibes. The
That's what vibes are.
vibes are off.
Yeah. And I think that's a genuine thing that we can do, which is if someone's looking at you with murderous intent, you can actually pick up on the scattered bit of like energy that's leaving their brain from their thought process.
Yeah, but hang on a second. It could just be like physiological
It could
changes,
be,
the way
yeah.
that they stare at you,
Yeah,
their eyes.
it could be minor like sort of things like that as well. 100% is part of that, but also why there's no reason in physics why we can't actually still catch and perceive the scattered thoughts.
Yeah,
If anything, it's more likely or as likely as everything else that we can pick up on.
potentially. I what I was finding strange is that, you know, if you can do that to yourself and you can lie to yourself and tell yourself that you're happy and genuinely believe it, but deep down there's a part of you that knows that's not true. You're just hiding it away. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting feeling because I know what that feels like. And then I thought, what if I take that feeling and apply it to someone else and I get that vibe off of them? That means that they're not being genuine. And I think the reason is because you have two sets of people, people that you know are being genuine and people that aren't being genuine. And you deal with so many genuine people that you have this radar that goes off and you can tell this person's not being genuine.
Hmm.
And I think that that's what people call gut feeling. I've never really believed the gut feeling, whatever it is, but I think there is
Or
some truth to
intuition
it.
or something like that.
Intuition, gut feeling, but I
Yeah.
think there is some truth to it. And I don't necessarily believe it's these magic airwaves going out from your brain or anything like that.
Magic, this motherfucker.
Whatever. It's like
Just
this
energy.
aura, that's
Yeah.
coming out. I think what it is that you subconsciously develop this ability to detect when someone's being genuine. So when you walk into a person or you bump into someone that they they come across as being genuine and happy, but there's this underlying feeling of uneasiness. I think you can spot
Lies
it.
just called me a wizard. That's it. Is
Stop being a wizard.
No, the jig's up. No, but that's actually that consciousness sort of experiment thing. I think is a fascinating way. What you described there is I think legit. There's intuition. There is vibes. There is all these aspects of it. Some people even say you can pick up on evil. Like if there's something evil that's happened in a room before. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what the whole concept of a haunted place are, or
Yeah.
the hair going up on the back of your neck, goosebumps randomly, all those sort of
That
things.
I find stranger because
Yeah.
there's no individual there that's actually giving you the physical
Yeah.
look or the physical cues
Yeah.
that you could pick up
Or,
on.
or is that just a consciousness imprint in that area from the same method I just told you about before? When it's a really traumatic one, it's imprinted into physical matter. We don't know. I'm literally saying to you, like, anyone who tells you that science understands what consciousness is or how it works has no fucking clue.
That's a
We don't
really
know. It's electricity moving through synapses. That's it. Electricity runs through everything.
it's like what you're trying to say there is there was something so evil that they have that, what is it, the Annabelle doll,
Mm.
and it was so evil whatever happened there that that energy has been
Imprinted. Yeah.
imprinted into that doll, so that's why they have it trapped around all this.
And who knows?
But then you have to believe in religion and
Yeah.
God, because if you're saying that demons are real, then God has to be real
Yeah.
as well, or a if there's light, there's dark.
Yeah.
I think that's not even arguable.
Yeah.
If you have light, you have dark. If you have yin, you have yang. So that means if demons are real, that means the other side is real as well.
Yeah. Which is like a terrifying and comforting thought at the same time. But I think I'll put all that stuff to like one side. I think the physical reality of how your consciousness is working and the fact that it is just energy being sent. Like, if I explained to you that we could take everything that's happening in your brain right now, we could put it onto like a digitized computer version of it, and the electricity gets signaled the same way. Everything, all of a sudden, conscious Louis is in that device. Because it's just electricity. It's just energy being transferred and interpreted in different ways. It's electric. We could shock bits of your brain and make parts of your body move and teach you different languages. They did all these experiments where they expose people's brains and put electrodes and probe bits of the brain. You can simulate thoughts and feelings and all these things. It's just electricity. And we know electricity doesn't stay inside your skull. Your skull's not like impermeable. Right now, if there was a way to actually scan what I'm talking about here, this lost energy, well, right now it loses most of it in heat. But if you could scan it, you would see from your brain the amount of like energy your brain consumes is so much of your body's energy per day. It's like 30% or something like that. I can't remember what the exact number is, but your brain is using a lot of the energy from the food that you eat each day. You would just see this like radius around your skull of all this energy leaving. So every time a thought gets made, stuff leaves. It's not insane to think that we've evolved subconsciously to be able to pick up on what someone else is thinking. In fact, it's a very advantageous thing to be able to do because that's how you pick up if someone's being genuine or not. That's how you can pick up the trust. That's how you get. Do you know what I mean? It makes sense we would have evolved to do that.
It's like when the cat, their hair stands up on
Yeah.
its back and it growls.
It's like your spidey sense of gut says. If you're around a psychopathic murderer who's literally intent on killing you, just waiting for you to turn your back, it makes sense for you to have multiple ways to pick up on that thought of theirs.
But that would make us some sort of, I would
Almost telepathic in a very weak way.
Mm.
But the reason why I say it's not telepathy, it's not that you can send something. It's just that it's being scattered and lost around you all the time. Every time you have a thought, that people can't pick up on just the general vibe of what you're thinking. Whether you're really sad, hey, you all right? Part of it might be it's shown on your face, but there's no reason to suggest that it also isn't just like haloing around your skull in like lost energy, mainly in heat. The information that caused the heat release may not be completely lost. In fact, physics will tell you information can't get broken down. It has to be retained. So when you have a thought, it's information attached to electricity. The electricity breaks and escapes into heat. Some of the information might still be attached. It's not the craziest thought. In fact, it sticks within physics principles. Like that's a better explanation for why we have intuition and, you know, vibes and all these things than about anything else I've heard.
How do you explain deja vu?
Deja vu, I reckon that's probably a processing error. If your brain, like, you know, rather than processing new information, it like overlaps it with a previous memory that you have. Do you know what I mean? The things are close enough to being similar.
Yeah.
It's stored somewhere in your memory bank. Maybe it just like it brings it up instead of making a new memory, it brings an old one forward. You have an overlap.
Don't you find it strange though that sometimes you'll have dreams or deja vu and they end up playing out in real life? And we'll just quickly go over to the chat here.
Yeah, sorry guys. Ruckus, thank you for watching that.
Don't even respond to that. Have you guys heard about the map of the fruit fly brain?
No,
we
I haven't heard
haven't.
about
Could you
that.
explain that to us, Shona? And thanks for tuning in, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
And it was actually the way humans rationalize most things are through stories. Usually, if a story doesn't make sense, it's because from our experience, we haven't had a story like that. Something doesn't add up based on what we know. So, further looking into someone's story, if the longer you go picking at them and you get lots of answers, the more disjointed it appears. Yeah. Bro, Ruckus, we're on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
No, it's all good, mate. All good. Cheers for tuning in, man. Yeah, we're trying on Twitch as well, but Twitch has had a few problems lately as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's like we're on multiple platforms or whatever, but
Yeah, cheers for tuning in, man.
Yeah, all good, man. Thanks for tuning in.
I'll be curious to see what it is about the fruit fly brain. If Shona could put that in.
Yeah, Shona, if you're still tuning in there, please explain to us exactly what you were talking about the fruit fly brain.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about fruit flies. I don't find them that interesting. Although I did infest my workplace once with fruit flies.
Yeah?
That was fucking chaos.
What'd you bring in? What the fuck was it?
Oh, fucking! Someone gave me some soil because I was growing chilies in the windows at work because they get so much sun, and my chilies were popping off, and I needed to get a bigger pot. So I was like, "Hey, bro," I knew one of the guys from the parks team. I was like, "Hey, brother, do you reckon you could grab me some soil?" He fucking brought me soil in, and it was infested with fruit flies. So then it was fruit flies all around the fucking building, dude. And all the plants got banned after that.
Typical.
So shout outs to him, brother.
Typical. But no, it's interesting. You said something to me before as well. I didn't get a chance to touch on yet. You said if all these people are like, you know, sad, miserable, why do I care?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but what I don't want, what really bothers me is if they're miserable and sad all by themselves, like because they haven't really taken control of their lives, it's on them and the accountability is only their own. I'm kind of okay with it because everyone's life is their own thing to handle, right? What I don't like is the idea that there's been like an orchestrated propaganda machine that's been around for a long time. I'd say probably since the 1990s, if not earlier.
Yeah.
And the push from the way I see it is that the whole thing I saw growing up in the 2000s, 2010s, even a bit recently as well, you saw the fat acceptance movement, all these things, is about telling people that they're fine just the way that they are. And if they're not fine, it's not their fault. They've got a condition. I hate it. I feel like we've diagnosed what being human is, and now we're treating human experience in general as being treated like it's a disease. But we've known what the antidote is to the human experience. We've known for forever. We've known in books that I have here that are thousands of years old. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius are thousands of years old, about 2,000 years old as a book, and it identifies clearly what humans need to have a fulfilling life. It's discipline, it's effort, and it's purpose. We know those are the things. They've always been the things. We've had smart people before as a species for thousands of years. They've wrote down their ideas, man. We know that those are the things people need to feel fulfilled, and we just don't have any of that anymore. Everything's easy. Everything's easy as it's ever been. It's only getting easier. You don't have to work for your food anymore. You barely have to go outside for your food anymore. You can get dinner dropped off at your door. You don't have to work. We're just taking away purpose from people one bit at a time and replacing it with distraction. And then we're wondering why everyone's miserable. So that's why I care, because it's not like how are those people meant to fight that themselves when there's this complete machine that's just devouring them. You know, that's what makes me feel like it's a fight worth having, because it's not like me being this altruist, see myself as a Jesus figure or anything. It's more just like, I think it's propaganda and it should be exposed. And I don't think that the media and what they've told you about what being human is has been helpful.
Do you know what's really interesting? I just wanted to talk about it here. I think this is going to be cool if we do a clip of this after. But there's that Fight Club quote. Like,
What do you find that? So, Shona, what they find when they map their brain? I'm very curious. I remember doing experiments on fruit flies at uni as well.
also, there must be
But they're
some
the
sort
most
of,
they're the most like studied animal, like dissected and do brutal shit to them.
what,
You,
fruit flies?
oh, you can actually do Drosophila. You can do it in a lab. You can see how genetics works with them. You
With
can
fruit
take
flies?
yeah, you can take ones that have like white eyes or black eyes. And you can mix the two parents up and count the next population and see how the genes get passed down. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you
I
have
didn't know that.
ethanol and you like kill them all. Well, you don't kill them, you knock them all out, and then you count like the white eyes versus the black eyes, and you can see how like genes get passed through and shit.
Really?
Yeah, you can see it in the lab in real time. It's really cool. Yeah, step in the right direction, understand human brain. Well, what I find really fascinating is that Neuralink. Have you seen any
Before we
interviews?
go
Oh
off
yeah,
though,
sorry.
I just wanted to talk
Remember
about
that one?
that. This is the thing where we don't finish off
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
we
Tell me about that.
So Tyler Durden, when he's talking about what you said,
Mm.
what we need is purpose and all that sort of stuff. I just give me 2 seconds
I think I remember
because
this quote. It's a really, really good one as well.
yeah. So the quote goes, "We are the middlemen of, sorry, we are the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives. We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact, and we're very, very pissed off.
Mm.
It's the same. It's like
It is.
because we don't have wars anymore, right? It is a spiritual war. If you think about it, it's a
Yeah. What I would absolutely love if the psychiatric industry could just do this. Very first thing, right? Before you prescribe anyone antidepressants, you need to verify that just for 2 weeks they woke up at the same time each day. Just got out of bed at the same time each day. Just try to do that. Just try to see what your circadian rhythm will do for your mood and your mental health. Just wake up at the same time each day. Wake up and go get 10 minutes of sunlight.
yeah.
Just that before you start giving people these like serotonin inhibitors and all these other completely mind altering drugs, which, by the way, the craziest thing, right? You know what a side effect of withdrawal from SSRIs are? So, the withdrawal symptoms from antidepressant medication are suicidal thoughts. So, explain to me how you give someone a drug to fix their depression and the withdrawal symptom is worse than what they had before they started
Do you
taking
know?
it.
I think I know why that is. No, this is just
Crazy.
my anecdotal.
Mm.
I know people that have taken them, and they become emotionless.
Mm.
I've seen the person prior to SSRIs, and then I've seen them on them, and then I've seen them coming off of them. And I think why those thoughts happen is because the whole time that you're taking them, it seems to give them this like washed over, glazed personality and lack of emotion. And then when you start coming off of them, all of those things that they're suppressing start to
Your
slowly
life
come
is
back
still
to you.
exactly the same.
It's
Your mind is
crazy.
exactly the
It's
same.
crazy.
And the wildest thing is as well, like the more you look into how minds function, I mean, the amount of books I brought here, I've got about twice as many of these that are all about how the brain works. I had a complete obsession with this when I was younger, like neural pathways. So what your habits are is basically the more times your brain sends electricity through a certain
Synapses.
synapse neuron link pathway, the deeper entrenched it gets. It becomes like a highway. Imagine there's back streets and then there's highways. The stuff you do more often becomes a highway for the electricity through your brain. The stuff you try for the first time, it's like you don't have GPS and you're about to take a turn off from the freeway and you're like, where the fuck am I? That's basically what's happening in your brain. But that stuff changes. It's not fixed. It's like a constantly moving map. If you just start behaving differently, that whole concept of fake it till you make it, it's grounded in actual neuroscience. Because your brain will change where these highways are. It will change where these roads are. It'll kill off roads completely. Some roads will become dead. Do you know what I mean? You can completely chart a new brain for yourself. Within I think it's like 60 days of behavior will make a new sort of back road to a highway as part of that metaphor. So your brain is completely changeable by your effort. So what we should be pushing as a fix to mental health, to bring this back around to what I talked about at the start, is effort. Effort is the main thing.
I
You can
think there
change your
is.
very brain.
I think there is though. I think there is that push. Without us, we don't know anyone that does that. We know a couple of people, and I believe there is a push for that, right? But there is also
Okay.
people that they prefer to just take the pill.
Yeah.
They
Which I
they prefer it.
understand, but the thing about they used to talk about depression was a chemical imbalance. Do you know that's been
It's
almost
not. It's
debunked?
not true, right?
Yeah. So the reason why they thought SSRIs worked and why they were prescribing them for freaking decades, there was a meta study done. I think it was like 2021. I want to say it was a couple of years now. That basically debunked the underpinning of all the SSRIs that were prescribed. Basically, the doctors have to admit they have no idea why it even helps sometimes. They don't know. They don't know what is happening in the brain that makes it work, or if it is working, or if it's placebo, or if it's just that numbing that you talked about. Is numb better than depressed? Maybe. But are you treating the depression or are you just numbing someone? For a while, they were selling it as if it was treating it, but it wasn't. So you're right. It is basically like, your life is exactly where it was when you got depressed. You took these drugs, you stop thinking about it, you get off the drugs, you're still right in the same spot, except more time has gone past.
It's almost as if that you haven't dealt with the things that you needed to
Yeah.
actually fix the pathways in your brain that
Yeah.
keep bringing you back to those thoughts that make you feel that way.
Yeah. And I'd say, like, if you're sad but you can't put your finger on exactly why, I'd say your habits can fix a lot of your problems. If you just literally draw down and become physically, financially, and emotionally healthy, then you might, get yourself into a relationship. You might, there's so many other things will start happening. Once you have enough of a foundation yourself, you can start helping others. There's a lot of reward in that as well. And that can make you feel a sense of purpose and all the rest of those things come with that. But when you feel like you're drowning and barely holding on, like you're not getting any real serotonin or dopamine from anything besides distraction. And that's probably worse. That's the worst situation that we're in.
I'll just quickly go over to the chat here.
So as I said, as someone who's used it in the past and got off them within 6 months, I think it's a good tool for people that don't have the support to get themselves out of a bad situation, because it helps you not be emotional so you can be rational. So there might be some element of that, because I've seen all the studies and they do say that it works.
It absolutely does work.
But what they don't know is why chemically, why that alteration is helping people out of that situation. And I'd hope to think that it's not just like the cutting off of your emotions. Like if that's the only reason why it helps, which was I said, hey, let's be rational. So maybe is there benefit in that you can then actually sit down and make plans and not have the emotions get in the way? Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. I've
Mm.
I've never taken them. I don't know what it's like. Couldn't tell you. And absolutely, I think that they have some. They work. They do what they need to do, and I think that they shouldn't get rid of them or anything like that. But
I think they should be a lot more careful about how they prescribe them. I think Jordan Peterson might have the right take on how they get prescribed.
we've talked about that.
Yeah, he has those like seven. He calls them seven tranches you have to get through before he'll prescribe you it. And the stuff I'm talking about here is all from that. Like, wake up on the same time. Fix your social scenario, fix your familial scenarios. Like he goes through all those things before he would ever give someone an antidepressant. And what he talks about is like he thinks that only like 1% of the people who think they're depressed actually have a diagnosable chemical condition for the depression.
Mm.
Everything else is societal or habitual, or you know, it's your circumstances that are making you depressed, not your brain. Your brain is doing a rational response to a shitty situation.
It's hard now as well because of inflation and all that sort of stuff. You feel like you're not getting anywhere. You
Yeah,
feel like a lot
yeah.
of the younger generation feel like they're trapped out of the property
I definitely
market.
do.
You
I,
know,
definitely- I said before, I'm making more money than I've ever made before, and I still feel like, wherever the target I have is, it's just like flying on ahead of me. And everyone's saying, oh, you can still buy an armor. It's not about buying in, it's about servicing it over 30 years and how much I'm paying back. And I think that's the biggest ripoff. I don't want to pay $1.4 million worth of interest for a house in WA that just cost $140,000 20 years ago. I don't want to pay $1.5 million in interest.
most people will take 30 years
Mm.
to even be able to save for the deposit for a
Yeah.
house these days.
Yeah, so I probably
That's
shouldn't complain.
crazy. And just chat here. Shona says, now that we have this brain map, we can close the loop on which neurons relate to which
That's cool.
behaviors. That's interesting.
That's cool. And then Zai said the solution is not the pill, but the pill can help find the solution. I like that. I think that's probably the best argument I've seen for why they get given the way that they do. But if the side effects of the pill are worse than the solution you were in, or the situation you were in before you start taking them, then ban that shit. If the withdrawal symptoms from the SSRIs make you more depressed than you were when you start taking them, ban that. Because that's a dependency. Then you're stuck for life. Mate, you can get like literally diagnosed upon as clinically depressed just for the withdrawal symptoms from taking your antidepressant medication. Do you know how insane that is to rationalize?
You'll get stuck in a cycle.
You know how wild that is, right? So if you tell me that you have trouble focusing, so I give you ADHD medication, but you take it, when you want to stop trying to take it, you have no focus at all. So your withdrawal symptoms from the treatment are worse than the symptoms you had that got you the treatment. That is bonkers, man.
Yeah,
That
but
is like a bottomless pit.
But one of them isn't affecting your life.
As long as you keep taking the medication.
Yeah, so ADHD isn't.
Yeah,
not
sorry,
like,
I get what you mean.
It's
yeah,
not like
yeah.
you want to hurt yourself. You
Yeah,
know?
that's there's an element.
That's
of that
why
too.
it's a tricky topic to
Can
talk
you
about.
can you give people a bit more time? Sort of. Okay, I get that. There's an element of that too.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one, but I just think
it's something beyond that we even understand. I think
it's just such a hard one that like it's so easily diagnosable now, and there's more and more. If you look at any of the numbers on like disability diagnoses based on mental health conditions, that's gone up. That's actually the fastest growing industry Australia has is the National Disability Services. It's the only growing bit of our economy, which I think is just absolutely bizarre. It's gone from 53 billion to about 61 since 2021.
I'd have to see the data on why though, because it might be a positive thing. It might be
might be a positive thing, but it was from what I could see that the biggest jump in the group were people who in 2021 were between 10 to 14 and now becoming 14 to 18 who weren't disabled at that age and now disabled at this age. So it's almost like a growing in the adolescent population more than any other.
That's alarming.
Yeah, with the TikTok generation, I think cheers, I just joined in, man.
Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. We'll see you around.
Yeah.
So some other stuff that we wanted to talk about.
I do want to talk about the Neuralink one. What Shona was saying here as well. That's the Neuralink is that patient for Elon Musk. Yeah, they insert the chip.
What did she say here?
Oh, she said about mapping the human brain.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that's what they were trying to do with Neuralink as well. So have you like kept any pace with that?
Yeah, so I saw that they put that Neuralink in that gentleman's head, and he can play Counter-Strike and stuff without.
Did you hear him talk about what it feels like? So I watched like an hour-long like TED Talk
I
thing
think I did watch a whole bunch of it, but I can't remember exactly.
The craziest one for me was that apparently like when they first trained him on how to do it, they told him to like use his eyes and look at where he wants the mouse pointer to go, and then imagine clicking, and he'd do like a little weird blink thing to click, and it was all that's how he could operate it. And then as he kept going, because the guy's completely paraplegic, he has no like actual control of his arms or his legs basically. And he had an accident when he was like I think in his early 20s. But what he found was like the capacity to use the mouse on the screen increased dramatically when he stopped trying to move it with his eyes and he just started pretending like his hand was still functional. So instead of like thinking of moving it, he was acting as if he was moving an arm that no longer moves. And then the sync just increased like crazy, and he could start moving it perfectly. And then he started being able to play games like Civilization, Age of Empires, stuff like that, Dota and stuff like that. He could actually play proper games online. How absolutely bizarre is that? Because it wasn't that like having his brain control the thing. It was just have his brain function an arm that no longer works. But the Neuralink implant could replicate what his brain was trying to do and move the mouse on the screen with it.
That makes sense though, because your whole time that you've used a mouse and keyboard, those pathways are already
There's
there. So
highways.
if you just imagine that you're using the mouse,
Yeah.
then it makes sense that he could
And the
do
fact
that.
that it's so well mapped now. So with this technology they have now, the next steps are incredible, man. You have no idea. Like, if you have a synthetic arm attached now, what they found for this guy is you implant the chip in them, you can move this thing as if it's your hand. Like, you're so close to being bionic now. Like Terminator style, put your
It's not
consciousness in.
far.
It's not far. I say 5-10 years, and that's me probably overshooting it.
I think the part that would be holding them back is the hand, right?
Yeah.
Like the way that the hand is. They're not that great, are they?
The actual creation of the
Yeah.
hand. Oh no, they've gone insane.
They've
Gone insane. I mean, we're not far away at all from a better dexterity than the human hand. We're
Really?
not that far. We're like one or maybe 2 or 3 generations on. I've seen ones now that, like, can completely manipulate everything, full touch centers, every finger. There's so much money being put into bionics right now.
That's
It's
interesting. I wonder if there's
incredible.
any good ASX stocks that are doing stuff like that.
There probably is. We'll look into this off
We should
cam.
look into
Shown
that.
us saying same as anything. If you use it as a quick fix, there's no long term benefit. It should be used to assist with change. Okay, that's still about the SSRIs. And I think
Yeah.
that's a great final take on that. I can agree with that as well.
I think so too.
Yeah, but I think you need to give people support to actually fix the fundamental issues and not just dose them.
And they need support when they're coming off of them too.
Yeah,
That's
more so than
when
any
they're
other
getting on
time.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which you hope by the time they want to get off them that they've already got a bit of a foundation and things have improved a bit, and they will go, oh, maybe I don't need these anymore. But that's where you got to be aware of what the side effects are, because I think that's crazy that they weren't well
is
well
wild.
known. But yeah, so as I was saying before, like the actual dexterity on the hands, we're not far away at all from like being able to upload your brain. So have you seen a movie called Surrogate
No.
with Bruce Willis?
I know it, but I haven't seen it.
Very, very fascinating dystopian type of movie that, like, and what I love about these dystopian ideas is that it almost feels like everyone's trying to have a crack at how bad it's going to go and why and what way. And all the time you're like, that's close. And as we're getting closer and closer to it, it seems like it's accelerating because we're only 2024. But some of these dystopian movies from like the mid 2000s, who like 2060, 2070, I'm like, this could be in like 5 years. Like, we are accelerating towards whatever the ideas that they had. Like Matrix, for example, was meant to be 2300 or something like that, right? I could see a Matrix scenario happening within like 20 years.
But imagine once they get to a point where someone that's in a wheelchair can be completely fixed and you don't need it anymore. The whole accessibility and car bays and stuff like that, it'll all be gone.
Yeah.
Because people will just be able to get a bionic version of that body part or whatever
yeah.
it is, and you'll be back to normal.
Yeah, but that Surrogate movie, the reason why it's so interesting what we're talking about, the whole concept of that movie is that it's gone to the point where the technology we're talking about right now is so good. What will happen is you're laying in your bed at home, you plug yourself in, your chip gets plugged in, and then you have your bionic version of Louis. Looks exactly like you, but younger you, a perfect version of you. Whatever you want it to look like, it's you. And you go out and that's the body that you live in with that day. You go out and you work with that. You go out and you do everything. And there's no more manslaughter. There's only property damage. If someone kills your surrogate when you're out in the world, you sue them.
Do you think that old people would do that?
Yeah. And in the movie, everyone's basically in aged. Everyone looks terrible. No one's getting any sunlight, but everyone just stays inside and puts out their like perfect body out there. It's a really, really good movie. It's very, very fascinating until someone finds a way to actually kill the surrogate and actually fries the brain of the person that's in it. And
I've
it's the first
seen this
manslaughter
movie.
on record
I've seen
for like
this
30
movie.
years.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I do know the movie.
Yeah, but the way it goes, it's so like everyone like goes into like debauchery and there's like promiscuity and everyone's just like doing this fucking like, as you can imagine it. If it's not really your body, it's like whatever.
Sorry, there's a bit of keep going.
Yeah, it's like whatever we currently like do with the internet. All the fucking terrible things people watch online. It's like you can have that, but it's actually still your surrogate experiencing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like complete like 400-pound overweight people going out as like slim, fit women and like.
But like with the debauchery, I guess I assume that you're saying that the feedback is absolutely normal. It's exactly
it feels like it's happening to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at that point, that's crazy because we're currently at that point now, just in real human meat suits.
So you said something to me. You said that you were surprised that we don't see too many dystopian ideas coming out lately, and that is that a sign that we're in the dystopian already. There's a really good one that came out. It was No One Wants to Die. Have you heard about it?
Never.
It's a PS5 game or multiple platforms from Steam as well. It's basically like a detective type of game, But the world building that is so good because basically what they found a way to do is they can basically store your consciousness. So if your body right now dies, they'll take your consciousness and they'll put it into a new body. So everyone's basically immortal to your consciousness, as long
Right.
as you can pay for it, though.
Hmm.
So there's like, the rich have been living for thousands of years, but if you're poor, you basically sell your body when you turn 18 to become a new surrogate for someone else because you can't afford the subscription. It's a really interesting world. I think it might be one of the closest things I've seen to how this could play out.
Isn't that exactly the same concept with that Justin Timberlake
The
movie
time
where
one?
the time? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit more of an abstract sort of way that make the heart attack happen. But this one, it's more like, people are still born. Poor people have kids all the time because when your kid turns 18, you sell them to the government and then they go into like a cryogenic frozen thing and they wait for some rich person to kick it and then they can pick your child's body and put their consciousness back into them.
Oh, so they're actually
Yeah.
using
Real people,
children.
yeah.
Well, what about what happens to the consciousness of the person that they buy?
They say that they put it in like a bank, and if you can afford the money for it, you get your child's consciousness back, put into a different
That's
body.
wild.
Yeah, but it's so well written out. It was a fantastic experience of a game. Like the gameplay's got nothing really to it. It's like the detective, like looking around and click type of thing. But man, the world building on that was fantastic. I'd love to see a book written on that.
Dude, that's crazy
Yeah.
as a concept.
So imagine that as soon as you turn 18, that's when like you either have to be able to pay to keep your body in your consciousness,
But how
or
do
your
you-
body gets repossessed by the state.
But how do you, so the consciousness that gets taken out,
Gets put in like a big database.
but how do you get yourself back?
You can buy your own body back if you want.
But how? Well, how do you, what happens to your consciousness? Is it
So your consciousness, no, you get they call it like in the game. It's actually quite interesting because they say that it goes into like a sleep state, but there's all these like things you can find that there's rumors of like people are actually in like a hell when they're there. It's like your consciousness is still alive in the database, like trapped, like a purgatory type thing.
Oh my goodness.
Like people are keeping a bit of consciousness, and they call it like the nightmare. And when you play as a detective, you just got killed on the job and gets a new body, but he keeps getting these like weird distorted visions when he's sleeping. And they're from when he was in the memory bank for like the time period.
Oh no.
While the police department was finding him a new body. It's really fucking fascinating,
That's
but
wild.
yeah, I can see that coming really close. That one might be one of the closest ones I've seen because if they can make your brain that highway that we talked about, if we can just replicate that one for one, we don't know yet. Is there another spark that's needed to actually add consciousness to that thing?
Yeah, how much of you is actually replicatable if you just took it and put it into something else?
And what I love is Theseus's ship, I think, is the actual parable for this. It's like an old story, which is like, if you were to take a ship that's on port, take one plank of wood at a time, put it into another ship, at what point does that stop being the ship and does this start becoming the ship? At one point, do you have two ships? Like, at what point does that first ship stop being his and the second one start being his if all you're doing is changing one piece of wood at a time?
Well, that's interesting because how much of the rest of your body actually contributes to you being you? Is
I'd
it
like to
just the
say,
brain? Is it just the brain or is it every living part of you?
I like to say that the brain is like the processor. But what the really interesting question is, what's your gut biome doing in all this? Do you know what I mean? There's, I think, is there more foreign cells in your body that aren't yours? There's more bacteria cells than actual cells in your body.
Yeah.
And they form their own sort of quasi consciousness in your gut.
Yeah,
Like
your gut
yeah,
has the ability
there's a
to
gut brain
influence
there.
you.
Yeah, that's what cravings are for certain foods and stuff like that. And most time when people get sick, they say that it's the gut that gets sick first, and then your body gets sick afterwards. There's this like communication pathway between your gut brain and your real brain. What part of your personality is down there? We have no idea. If we replicate the brain, we'd be like, "That's not me. Who the hell is that guy?" What if there is? There's this complete symbiosis between your gut health as well. Then you are what
It's
you
an
eat.
interesting.
You are what you eat in many more ways than you might think. Because you're cultivating like this freaking bacteria biome that communicates to itself. It has like a sort of its own, highways and roads like we just talked about.
Well, isn't that what people call healthy? When you can see
Yeah.
it on someone, he looks really healthy.
Yeah. So I think it's all about like the enzymes and stuff that you have. So if you eat a food that you've never eaten before, your gut biome will take longer to digest it and process it and break it down. The enzymes aren't there. Like
The craziest part is that it makes you feel a certain way.
it's insane. So if you keep eating a lot of sweets, you'll have like the enzyme in the gut biome built to break down sweets. So if you try and stop eating it, like imagine like your gut biome is one of those pie charts that has different percentages. So the more you keep eating something, the greater percentage of your gut biome becomes something that breaks that down. And if you try to stop giving it that food, you get cravings and you start like, you get the urges. It communicates to your brain because it starts dying. And the different thing that you're eating then becomes bigger to break down the new bit of food. So you actually have this lag time between your conscious decision to change what you want to eat and what your stomach and your biome is actually able to break down.
That's why it makes it so difficult as
so
well.
difficult, man. It's
That's
like uphill
crazy.
battle.
Shona says,
I wonder the risk involved with creating that technology. Do we become species that take more risks? We already struggle to manage people who have no care factor. Look, that is a fantastic point. And in the movie, that's like the underlying, underpinning message of it is that if there's nothing ever on the line, if there's no stakes, like, do you just like slowly wither away and die in your bed? Are you really living? So many people in that movie, in the setting, like, haven't had a real world experience for like decades, man. Everything's done through the surrogate. Everything's done through the body that they've made. It's bizarre. I would much prefer this idea that we can somehow. That's what Musk is trying to do with Neuralink. He's trying to like fuse it. He's trying to make us half bionic. He doesn't want us to get left behind by AI. He wants us to be able to fuse our humanity to the AI. And that might be the only way to go, because we're not slowing down on the AI front whatsoever, man.
no.
That is just gonna balls to the wall, like, accelerator on that thing. God forbid they make a completely non-human entity that gets this sort of, superhuman strength and superhuman intelligence before we do. But I'm also really worried that, let's say we do create this immortality thing. That movie, the game I just told you about, the best thing I thought about that, the way they tackled it, it's the current flaws in our capitalist system manifested with more technology. The rich live forever. The poor don't get to live at all. It's exactly what we're in right now as well. And you always talk to me about this, that if you can unhook yourself out of this matrix, as Andrew Tate calls it, but if you become wealthy enough they don't need to work anymore, you're living this completely different existence. I mean, it is night and day difference from people who are doing 40, 50 hours a week. It's not the same.
It's
It's
not even close.
comparable. And then from where we live in this sort of 2 days off a week type of setting, you can take that way further and go, okay, you work 7 days a week all the time, like what some of those children do, and or in Oliver Twist books, how we used to send freaking 6-year-olds into mine shafts to work for 16 hours a day. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's night and day difference. So why is it so hard to believe that we might already be there now? It might be that rich people don't die. They might already have, access to a way longer lifespan than we do. Wherever the stem cells technology is, wherever all the stuff that are not given to the masses, you gotta believe if you're like a billionaire, you've got access to that.
Literally. Give me a sec. I'm dying for a piss here.
All right, no
I'm
worries.
gonna go over to Darko here because I'm dying, dude. I have had so much water and so much coffee, and he went to the toilet before. It was a fucking great idea. Do you want me to put it on the camera on you, or do you want it as the wide shot? Do you want it this one, or do you want this one?
Put it on the wide shot.
We'll leave it there. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry,
Jeez,
guys.
I'll take time.
This guy's a menace, man. He's always sweating, this fella.
Bro, it's fucking. I come from a freaking cold place, man. Australia's not in my genes.
I guess so. What has Shona said? Did you say?
Same about the technology. Do we still take risks?
I think you take more risks if you knew that you weren't going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Because, more risks in what sense?
Oh, do you still try things? I suppose. I mean, that's the whole thing.
You try more, I would say, because if you have no physical repercussions, why wouldn't you? People would be doing crazy shit.
What's wild about now? Like, you got with this mapping they've done with this guy's hand moving that way. The whole real thing I think that we're waiting on that underpins, do we go to the Matrix future or the rest of these things, is can you make it so that you don't know you're not moving? Like, can you have it so it's almost like a dream, way more vivid, but you're not aware that your body's still laying down on a couch? Is there some way where, whether it's you put a headset on, so we still stimulate your visual senses through real world eye movement? I don't think we even need that necessarily. Like, we can make this guy's brain think that he's moving a mouse when he's not. Why is it so hard just to make your frontal cortex think it's seeing something that you're not? The chip sends it directly to the brain, and the brain processes it as vision whilst you're still laying on the couch.
Oh, dude, that's absolutely where it's going. There's no doubt in my mind. These like...
But once we get there,
man,
that is
not far. These headsets and shit, they're so primitive. Yeah. Soon it's going to be, plugged into your head, see whatever the fuck you want. I don't think we'll see it. I don't think we will, or we'll be on the very tail end of... Sorry, we'll be at the very beginning of that segment of
I'm not
VR.
sure about that necessarily, because one thing that when I was doing that AI seminar and I was doing a presentation, right? One thing I saw is we as humans have a really bad sense of the pace of progress. And the best example of that was I think in the 1800s, there was this inventor, and he was a very forward-thinking guy. And they asked him in 200 years, how do you think humans will travel around? And he gave them this fantastical idea, which was basically just a blimp that will float. And he was like, you'll be able to go across the English Channel in 3 days. That was the most ambitious attempt at predicting how humans would travel in the year 2000. And you think what happened in the year 2000? You have jets bulleting metal bullets flying people around in like the freaking slipstream. Like it's completely not even close to what we actually were able to do. And then you have in 2020, you had all the AI researchers in the world, all the leading researchers in the world give predictions on when they thought artificial general intelligence, AGI would happen. All of them said 2030, 2040, some 2100. We're not there, not this century. ChatGPT came out. Every one of them revised their estimates to about 2030, 2025. Like they were off by like 50, 60 years. And these were the best of the best in the field. They just thought it was that far away. Because our technology uses itself to improve itself. So it's exponential. They call it the singularity. Like if you go from like mobile phones, just pure processing power, use processing power as your proxy, it's exponential. Every single time it's an exponential curve. No, what you put on the amount of data transferred. You know, when we started using the internet, what was it? Bytes?
Yeah,
If you go down 100 bytes a second, you were pretty
it's
happy.
crazy.
Then you got kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes. You just the amount of content we are generating is also exponential.
Dude, I honestly wonder how many people out there have figured out a way to use AI to like game the stock market.
All of them,
This,
I
man,
think.
man,
Surely.
you must be able to make so much money using AI.
The only
Seriously.
problem is if you're not part of like an actual institutional payroll type of brokerage hedge fund, the problem is trying to be a public trader is that you get hit on the taxes. You can't buy in and out fast enough, and you can't get your wins big enough, consistent enough to pay for just the taxes on your profit margin.
Did you hear about the guy in the UK that worked at a broking firm and he was really good? He was autistic and he was really good at video games. He got to like top 200 in the world in FIFA. Anyways, someone showed him investing and playing the stock market and he got really addicted to it. He went to
Yeah.
this brokerage firm. He got through this really difficult situation to get through it. Anyways, he became one of their best traders and I think he ended up getting to millions of dollars a day. He had full open class to invest in anything he wanted to. And then I think he ended up with 3 million in the bank and he decided, you know what? These big hedge funds, the way that they're doing is they have this AI system and it's called spoofing. So what they'll do is they can trick people into investing by getting this little AI computer robot thing to put in a whole bunch of buy orders. And then as soon as it gets close to fulfilling that, it cancels the order. So it like pulls
But
the
people can see that a buy order was placed, so they try to tack on to the end.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it just keeps doing that. So he decided
Yeah.
to go get this programmer to design him one that would counter what they were doing. And he can on one of these days he didn't give a shit about the money. It's this crazy story. So he ended up making this robot that would counter them and he was making millions of dollars a day, man. And anyways, one night he set his robot up on this stock and he went to go have dinner and something happened with the stock and both of the robots were like going at each other and it fully tanked the stock and people were
Jesus.
losing their minds because he was putting in these buy orders, they were putting in these buy orders, everyone was selling and it caused this like spiral effect of selling and then it bounced right back up when everyone realized what was happening.
Yeah.
And essentially they ended up putting him in jail for doing that because I don't know why. It was like it wasn't the big brokerage firms doing it, so they thought, oh yeah, we can't let this go.
Yeah.
So they ended up putting him in jail, saying that he crashed the stock market.
Like,
I was like, man, it's okay if the big dogs are doing it because they're all doing it. The minute someone else used what they were doing against them, oh no, this is illegal. You got to go to jail now.
We weren't even doing this podcast when the whole GameStop thing was happening, though.
Oh, that was
GameStonk?
Crazy.
That was hilarious, man. Do you know the concept of that?
I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I was watching it.
And then when the freaking Robinhood, the platform, like froze everyone's accounts so they couldn't sell before all the big investors could pull their money out.
100% conspiracy there.
Ridiculous, man.
Dude, that was some dodgy shit that they did there because the hedge funds were getting squeezed so hard.
Yeah.
And there was nothing official, but there was some meeting that went down. Absolutely, Robinhood saved their asses.
Yeah, well, it allowed them to pull their money out before, because Robinhood could see that all these orders were placed for at market to buy, and because the hedge funds had a short position, if they could get out before the buys came in, billions and billions of dollars they got saved, and the people who bought will lose their money because their order still gets processed, but the stock's just half because all these short orders would have got fulfilled. And that's exactly what happened. So all the people who bought in on that evening before the trading market got absolutely lost their money, lost probably multiples of their money because everyone thought there was all this money in the stock, but it got pulled out overnight by the hedge funds.
And that's the thing is that
So fucking dodgy, man.
it's completely geared towards the little guy not winning,
Yeah.
and the big funds. They get to do whatever they want. It's not a fair system. It's crazy. And there was what happened to that? Nothing. They completely got away with it.
Yeah, Robinhood dissolved in Phoenix. I think they got a different name now because of all the bad press that they got.
Really? No, I think they're the same, aren't they?
They may have just lost all of their users. I think the people who invested in Robinhood as an app, as a trading platform, I think they were just moved across.
Yeah,
So
people.
there's no consequence whatsoever, really.
People still use it. Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody hell. But as you said before, like, can AI do that? I think there's so many freaking guardrails in place to not allow regular people to make money through trading.
For me, what's interesting
I
is
just hate
that
I didn't pay tax on it. That blows my mind because if I invest the money, I'm already investing money that you taxed me on.
no, but here's the thing,
I
right?
bought that stock with money I already paid taxes on.
Yeah.
Why are they then also taxing me on any gains that stock makes?
Just hold it for a year and then sell.
But still 17%.
But it's.
But why, Louis? Think about it. They already taxed me before I bought the stock.
But that's everyone though. It's not like it's just you. It's everyone.
I know, but we should all be furious about that. If you think about it, that's like double whammy. You're being taxed twice on the same money. But if I lose that money when I buy those stocks, nothing.
No, you can claim that back on tax.
No, you can't tax
You
right off a stock loss.
You can.
No, it's just a public trader.
You can.
As a public trader?
If you sell, you can claim that back on your tax.
The loss?
Yeah. You can.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, let me look into this.
That's why when
I haven't had any losses yet, unfortunately, but when
no. So that's why if you invest in a stock and you lose, if you sell, you can claim that back.
The loss
as a capital loss through your
and it'll reduce your tax.
It'll reduce your tax, so you'll get more tax back.
Fair enough. That's at least one.
How do you not know this?
I haven't lost yet.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
That's the only problem.
But I'm
just contemplating selling on these wins and looking at how much money they're going to take out.
But think about this, right? If you sell your stocks, that just essentially becomes your wage. So it just gets tacked onto your wage.
It goes right back into your pocket again.
Yeah. So I know you're saying you get taxed on it, but you're going to get taxed if you earn the same amount of money through your job.
But it already got taxed. That's what I'm trying to say. I couldn't buy that stock until I already got taxed the money from my payroll tax. That's what really pisses me off because you already took 33% of this money.
Yeah, why are you taxing
I've then taken the 33% less money. So if it was 10 grand, it's now 6. I put that into a stock. I've managed to bring it back up to 10 grand. Awesome. Oh, wait, you're going to take another 2 grand of that. The fuck? It's still the same money you already took.
That is dog act.
Then that 10 grand has actually had about 5,000 taken off it instead of the so they've taken more than half my money in that transaction scenario.
I wonder if there's a way to circumvent that. Not just
Let's not talk about that on freaking stream though. But yes.
But like, is there a legal way for us to avoid having to pay that tax?
I think it'd be a registered trader, like a hedge fund type thing.
And they don't pay tax.
I think they have a different system set up, which is actually they have their staff, they have payroll, they pay through that.
Because if you think about this, day traders, if there was no money to be made in that, then they'd...
Yeah. Well, if it gets taxed the way we get taxed, it's almost impossible to make money on day trading.
No, but that's not true. I know.
No, but you have to. The win has to be worth the tax on the profit.
Let's say it was.
Do you know what I mean?
So let's say it was $300 a day.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
But
you'd have to be doing it with so much money though, which is the risk.
But also, let's say you're making $300 a day, but then you can't have a business model where if one loss takes away all your profit. And if you think about it, it's kind of like a thing of the casino, for example. Let's say if I bet $100, if I win, I get the 100 back. If I lose my 100. So 50-50. Fair enough, we can play that game. But what if when I win 100, well, I win $70. If I lose 100. Well, all of a sudden, my odds of winning need to be pretty fucking high for me to be able to make the money.
But does that happen?
No, but that's kind of what happened with the tax. If you day trade on it, when you win, you don't double your money. You only get 66% of what you've won because the government takes its share.
Is that before or after the reduction?
This is before. So if you're day trading, you're not holding the stock for 12 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they'll take 33 cents capital gains tax on it if me and you were trying to do this. So your win has to be so good and so consistent, has to make up for the fact that when you're losing everything. When you're winning, you're only winning 70%.
What if you do it through a trust fund, and then you distribute the earnings to your wife and kids?
Possible. Do you still pay capital gains tax on? You would, because it's the process of the sale of the stock. I don't think it matters what entity holds it. I don't know. We need to get someone who's like a
interesting.
financial whiz to look into this for us.
That's the other part I was thinking about. Is like, do we get guests on to chat?
Yeah, we should try to do that sometimes.
Like, I don't know how
Every now
that
and
would work
then.
because it would just ruin the entire setup. But
Unless you had them like sit here. To do the dual cam. Let's see what the dual cam looks like.
dual cam. This is dual
No,
cam.
no, sorry, the wide. No, for both of us.
What do you mean for both of us?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that one there. Yeah. See, it wouldn't really work, would it?
Unless you had them as like a guest from a remote area, and they'll pop up in the middle there, and we can discuss them with them, and have their own little.
Yeah, it's interesting because
Remote
I'd
guest?
like to have people on, but then also it's a bit tedious because we've set it up for just 2 people now, so it'd be a
It's
bit of a
quite
pain in the
nice.
ass, wouldn't it?
The only thing I can think of, as I said before, if we just had them like, even if they were sitting on the sofa, had their own cam, we could all still talking, but you would like to sit around the same table, but that's really hard to do. You have to
It is hard.
you have to be geared for that. It has to
We
be
need
completely
to
set up
make
for
it big
that.
as a duo first,
Yeah,
and then we could probably upgrade.
But even have them come on remotely.
Yeah, you could have someone
Yeah.
remotely on, right? But yeah, I think the other thing as well is that we need to start having some structures in our
Yeah.
podcast. Don't you reckon?
I think so.
A few set topics, because today we've sort of gone
We
down.
got by. We got by.
We
though. It
got
was
by,
good.
but
It
we
was
went
good.
down some similar topics: AI, philosophy. Once again,
Yeah.
I'm thinking there was a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that was completely?
Oh, there's just a random thing I saw, which was really, really strange. I think you probably even pull it up so you can react to this as well. But it was a random ABC program. So not
Excuse me.
Australian, American
Yeah.
broadcasting company. It was a random program that they were playing, and then everyone took screenshots of this as well. So this is like verified. Election results ticker started popping up at the bottom.
Mhm.
The election's not for another 5 days.
Right.
And in the ticker, it had Pennsylvania with the final result. And had Harris winning it by about 200,000 votes. But it was completely like, it just popped up as the ticker. So where the car is there. The car, fifth one across. That one there. Open the image of that. So they're saying that this was just a test run for their election coverage. But why the fuck are there results? Dude, they broadcasted completed results for some places.
Can we react to this on stream?
Yeah. I want to see if that is the one that I've seen that has.
Let's just have a quick look at this here. I think this is it, right?
Yeah. Unless they've done it twice, which is absolutely fucking crazy if that's happened. The guy's been scrubbed off the internet. What the hell?
Nah, I think this is it, right?
But actually, just the image has been scrubbed off Google.
Just we'll put that there, and we'll make ourselves a little bit bigger. So what's this? We don't have sound, do we? No.
So that there. Pause that. Pause that. So this is literally just random during Formula One. This pops up. 100% reporting. This is like a final result. The election's off for 5 more days. It's got an exact number.
Fuck, that's sussy.
How sussy is that, man? And the actual explanation they gave, we're just testing like the software for election night. Why the hell do you have an exact fucking number? Someone type that number in, man. Someone type that number in.
Yeah, do that.
And what's crazy as well, Trump's up by like 2 points in Pennsylvania. They're talking about a 6-point swing back the other way. If they're really testing it, why not use what the current polls are saying? Why upset of Harris?
That is very strange.
What is going on?
So I'm just gonna change that back there, but I find that really odd.
And it just popped up, and people were like reacting. They were like, "What the hell is going on?" Like they're saying 100% reporting. Like they're giving like these results out for everything as well. Like,
what is the comment? There are no comments.
Dude, I tell you, this has been getting scrubbed because I had videos saved that had a lot of views, and you've just found one that's just been uploaded. They are scrubbing this. They're scrubbing this off the internet.
I wonder if I should download this.
I think you should, because if that's the actual result that they have on election night, could you imagine? Yeah, look, Louis, this is me going Google Images just to try and find the exact same
What's
image you have
not
there.
there?
Nowhere. Nothing. Look, I'm 3-4 scrolls down.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
I might download this and use this as in one of our videos.
How ridiculous is that?
It is really odd, isn't it?
It's really odd because you can't even tell me it's polls because she's actually down in every single poll.
What are your thoughts on this? Because today they came out and saw that there was a Discord channel, and
Oh, yeah, you sent me this.
yeah, she was getting a whole bunch of her followers to go and say that Kamala is doing way better than she is,
Yeah.
and trying to change the dynamic and the perception of what's actually going on.
You know what's wild? And this is just going to be me, like, just saying this, like, as truthful as I can to you, right? That is bizarre that you still even download that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try through
Yeah.
a different thing, but yeah, carry on
here's
talking.
the
I'm
thing,
just gonna
right?
put the camera on you. Sorry, 1 second.
Everyone who follows politics, especially all Kamala Harris's staffers, know there's this phenomenon that happens when your side's up in the polls, it will underperform on the day because you get less turnout because people think it's a sealed deal. Happens all the time. It's psychological. Voting is a hassle. You have to go there. You have to wait in line. It's a whole day. If you think your vote's not going to matter because your guy's going to win anyway, you're like, fuck it. If you think that it's a desperate fucking thing, oh my God, back to the wall, we might lose, you want your voters to think that because they'll get more of them to go vote. The only reason why she would be trying to convince her supporters that she's got it in the bag is if they're going to steal it. And then what they really need is they need at least half the country to believe it was legit. They need at least half to believe it was legit. If no one on the fucking planet thinks she's going to win, she somehow pulls out a 9-point fucking upset in every single swing state, but you can't look at the ballots. You can't check anything. No, mail-in ballots came. A few vans rocked up at 3 in the morning like they did with Joe Biden's win. I think that's why they're doing this. They're using the media as much as they can to convince everyone she's way more popular than she is. But mate, she never got a single vote in any primary. She couldn't win the Democratic primary in the 2 times she attempted it. People don't like her. They've never liked her.
Yeah, I find it.
Why else would they do this?
Super odd. I'm just gonna download a few of these. I managed
Definitely
to get
download that. That one there as well. They're saying like, that. If I show you, that's Pennsylvania, right? If you just go back to it, was Pennsylvania.
I think it was. Just have a look.
So I'll show you what the current Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a very key battleground state. If Trump doesn't win that one, they're saying that he's basically real slim chance to win the presidency.
Really?
Yeah. So right now, Pennsylvania, he's up by 1%. So why the fuck are they showing a practice tracker that has her turning around a 6% swing? That is insane. That means there's 500,000 more voters there than they're expecting to turn up for her.
Do you think that there's any real truth behind them robbing the election last time?
After what I've seen now, yes.
Trump seems to think so.
After what I've seen now, yes. No doubt in my mind. If you actually open up the Biden-Trump election tracker from the evening,
I've seen it.
The jump?
Yeah, the jump is crazy.
There is a statistical model you can put together that says the likelihood of that being a legitimate sample size, impossible. There's no random 200,000 mail-in voters you could pick anywhere in the country that would turn out 99.9% for Biden. They didn't put a single Trump name in there. Why not just at least put some of Trump's name in there? What a stupid way to rig it. You rock up with hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots all for one candidate. That's what they did. They're not even good at doing this, bro. They made it statistically impossible that it could have been legitimate. Because why? Why would there not be a single Trump name in that box delivery?
It is
and how is it just enough votes to win it for Biden by 0.7? So they calculated, like, all right, we need to make sure it's not disputable. It was just enough that it couldn't go to the Supreme Court, like just enough.
What would have been disputable?
If it's close enough, you can ask for a physical recount. If it's within a margin of error.
Well, he did ask for a recount anyway.
They didn't get it.
Hey, they didn't give.
They didn't get it. Well, there's mainly ballots. Like you can't track down the names of the people. You can't do any of those things.
Yeah, that's the other thing I find strange is that it doesn't ever get tied to someone.
Yeah, and
because we have to tie it to ourselves. Don't we?
Do, yeah, but they don't need an address. They don't need ID. Nothing. And the worst thing is that they have exit polling, which is how the UN apparently certifies election results everywhere in the world. Exit polling works by you have someone stationed outside of a voting booth, and you ask 10,000 people who leave, who'd you vote for? And you dock it down. Your result has to be within 1 to 2% of the actual result for there to be no fraudery. It's not. None of those places with Biden was like that because of the mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots were so much skewed towards Biden. They were all for Biden. Like 95, 96%. Crazy numbers, man. Crazy numbers. And everyone's like, oh, that's because Democrats were scared of COVID. That's why. And that's the reason that they used. And there you go. But after seeing that, like, that is wild that they would just start, like, leak that out.
Do you think that Trump's going to win?
I think he will win organically. I think he's got the support of the people. I think having RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Vivek, all these people, the Republican side has coalesced around him. You can't say the same about the Democratic side. Do you know why? Because Tulsi and RFK were the two most popular Democratic candidates in the primary. They've both switched over to Trump because that's how much they don't trust and despise Kamala Harris. So they would have at least taken 10% of the Democratic vote. At least, just from their own supporters. And Democrats have only ever won by 2 to 3%. If you take 10% of their vote away, they'd lose massively.
Do you think that if Kamala wins, there's going to be an absolute uproar?
I think from what I've seen, I'd say so. I'd say it'll be rightfully so as well, because I don't think there's any organic way she can win. And the reason I say this is that the only metric you could convince me with of why Biden won was because he was likable candidate, everyone trusted him, and everyone was just terrified of COVID and what was happening. Maybe, right? But even then, Biden got more votes than any other president in the history of America.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it was.
Crazy, yeah.
You know, we see Trump fill out like 100,000 seat rallies and shit like that. Like, you can believe that Trump can get that sort of number. But Joe Biden ran for president 4 times. 3 times he pulled out. Twice for plagiarism. Once because he got no votes. How then? How then? How did he suddenly become the most well-loved and charismatic man of a lifetime?
Well, maybe it was because the mainstream media did such a good job at villainizing Trump that
Maybe.
everyone just voted for Biden.
Maybe. But one of the biggest ways they villainized Trump was they said that he wouldn't leave if he lost. Bill Maher said it in particular. They said Trump will become a dictator for life and never relinquish. But he has. We saw him step down still. Someone else took over. No, the world didn't burn down. Nothing didn't happen. It wasn't the last days of Rome. Everyone knows the media lied. You have evidence now. So you're telling me that the fear about Trump in 2024 is as high as 2020? As high as 2016? No, you've seen him run the government. He didn't drop nukes on people. You've seen him do it. If anything, he did a good job. He didn't start wars, and people's economy, people's wallets were better off. People had more money, more purchasing power per citizen. Like,
So if that's true, then why do you think that there is such an agenda to... Why do you think there is such an agenda to stop him going in again?
Ukraine. Ukraine has been one of the best embezzlements I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I say this to you all the time. I hate these people, but I have this weird respect for them and how well they can steal our money. It's so fucking clever. It's so clever. All the humanitarian aid you think you've sent to Ukraine has gone to the back pockets of military-industrial complex who pay out your politicians. Every Western country, throughout all of Europe, throughout all of freaking America, people have gone incredibly wealthy from the Ukraine war. They've given trillions of dollars worldwide to that. Trillions, man. Trump has straight away said, he said, I'm stopping that. We're going to let you say, we're not giving you weapons to fight back. We're also not going to let you keep moving. You guys sort this out. Putin came out and said he believes Trump could stop the war. He trusts him. He trusts him as a man of honor. He'll be willing to sit down and negotiate with him. Zelensky said the same thing. Everyone seems to know that the whole, Ukraine embezzlement stops day one that Trump gets in.
What do you reckon is going to happen? Do you reckon that Zelensky and Putin will... Do you reckon they'll stay separate, or do you think that Putin's just decided, nah, I'm having it now?
Well, what happened in 2016 was basically that Ukrainian people voted for a favorable Russian politician. They voted for a politician who was more favorable to ties with Russia and not the West. That's what happened. And there was a genuine election. There was no shenanigans about it. America, Victoria Nuland, and the CIA, and America in general, created a coup that overthrew that government through the help of some extremist neo-Nazis in Ukraine and installed Zelensky. That is a historical fact. We have evidence about that now. That happened in 2016.
Yeah, I do know about
just
that.
before Trump got into power. So I think the Russian people, the Ukrainian people already have, they're basically Russian. Their family members across, it's an invisible border that you're talking about here. I think they do want to have good ties with each other. They voted on that before. America got involved. Get America away, let them vote again.
Yeah, I don't know now because of this war stuff. I don't know what's going to happen because now it's the same situation of like Lebanon and Israel
Mm.
and Gaza and
Iran.
Iran and all that sort of stuff. It's crazy, like there's going to be some
Yeah.
serious hate from the Ukrainians to the Russians now,
Yeah,
surely.
and that's the problem as well, right? There's that sort of generational resentment that builds into these
It
things.
will,
It
yeah.
doesn't just go away
They won't
overnight.
forget.
They won't forget. But I don't know. I think, why is my tax dollars going for it? And why are you sending my money over there?
Well, it's not your money.
It was my money. McGowan sent some of our money over there.
Did he send
Yeah, he did.
to who?
He did. He sent it to Ukraine.
How much?
500,000
Oh,
that we know of, but he didn't even ask for a vote, bro. He
500.
just decided I'm gonna dip my back pocket and send your money to Ukraine.
Bro, 500,000. I'll cop that on the chin.
Fuck off! I ain't copping shit.
I'll cop a 500 if it was like millions, or we're talking about billions of dollars.
Well, Australia federally they did. Some of your taxes go federal. You still paid Ukraine a lot of money.
I don't know how much in total got sent.
Look into it. How much did the Australian federal government give to Ukraine? I'd be curious to see what the exact number is.
Let's move on to something jovial as well.
But you asked me about what I think is happening in this election.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
true.
one thing I would love to get just on record what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to have some of the biggest turnout of real people voting in here than we've ever had before.
I hope so.
But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think whatever this machine is, there's no fucking way that they will allow Trump to get in. There you go. Okay, so we've sent more than $1.3 billion.
Where is it? It's
No, go up. 1.3 billion. Up. There you go.
Today's announcement by the Albanese government takes Australia's military assistance to Ukraine to more than 1.1 billion since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, and overall assistance to more than $1.3 billion. Fuck, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Do you know what our population is in Australia? I'll make a little calculator here and find out how much per citizen they sent out. We have about 26 million people.
Let's see. I don't know if this will work.
I'll get my calculator out as well to get the exact number.
I'd need to ask that question to ChatGPT, I reckon.
Here you go. 1.6 million? Billion, sorry. 1.6
billion
divided by 26 million people. It's $100 per citizen. We sent to Ukraine.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, man.
That money could be better spent not funding wars, but
yeah,
I don't know.
We never voted for it.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to say that would be nice. But with the Trump thing that I reckon, the most amount of real people who have ever voted in an election are going to turn up for this one. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think there's any plausible scenario where she wins it legitimately. And I'd say that by the key metrics for me are enthusiasm in your voting base.
It makes sense that she wouldn't win it. But
she has no enthusiasm, man.
Yeah,
she
doesn't know how to speak without a teleprompter as well, which is just crazy.
And let's be just brutally honest here as well. Let's say you take the Democratic Party. Most people who are Democratic, you can say whatever you want about them, but it's a big spread of different type of people. Some people are just economically Democratic. They want strong unions. That's it. They're union men. They're workers. They don't trust the Republican rich guys. Fair enough. You need them to turn up to vote for you. At least some portion of them are going to be sexist. She is walking up a hill already. She has a disadvantage because, as much as I don't agree with it, there are a lot of men who just won't vote for her because she's a woman. I don't think that should be the reason you don't vote for her. There's many actual legitimate reasons not to vote for her.
For sure.
But that's just a reality. She has to be such a good candidate to be the first female president.
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard makes
even
more sense.
She would have such an uphill battle.
She would have an uphill battle,
Even
but she makes way more sense to
I
me.
would vote for her.
I'm surprised they didn't run her.
Yeah. If they had an open primary, she probably would have won.
It made way more sense to run.
They refused when Biden stepped down. They pushed for an open primary. Kamala Harris's team said, "No, it's mine." She just took it. Even within the power structure of the Democratic Party, there was disagreement. They were arguing about whether or not they try to replace her with someone else because they knew she was dog shit. So the real question is, does democracy exist anymore?
Yeah.
I think we're about to find out. Does it really exist? But that ABC tracker of them fucking starting to publish fake results, that makes me very, very nervous.
I feel like it's like 4 days until the election. Man, it's gonna be fucking wild.
It's gonna be wild, man. We should do a potty election night potty.
What day will it be?
It will be the 5th of November. What does that put us on? Like a Wednesday or something like that? Let's both take a day off. We'll come up and do a fucking election track and potty.
5th of November is
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So over there, they'll get their results Tuesday night. It'll be about 10, 11 a.m. on the Wednesday. We'll start getting trickles off it here.
10 a.m. Wednesday.
Maybe 1 p.m. We'll get real proper results coming through.
Mm.
That'll be a fascinating one to do.
That would be a crazy like
Yeah.
live podcast to do.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, talk to me about Drew and Lagan. What are your thoughts on the show? From episode 1
Yeah.
to what, episode 6 you're
6,
up to?
yeah. I like it. I like the way it came about with the conversation I was telling you about that, the idea of having that species that's like never seen the sun, that's just lived underground.
Well, it all started because you were talking about the Great Filter.
Yeah. Yeah, and also that planet, the moon of Jupiter, where there might be like intelligent civilization that has like an ice cap above its roof and it's never even seen, it doesn't even think there's a world out there. So
Exactly.
it's really fascinating on that front. And I still don't know like how the world got the way it was. So it's very intriguing so far. But I'll say to you the most I'll say refreshing bit about it is just the portrayal of normal femininity. They've got normal masculinity, normal femininity, and they've even got the fucking in between portrayed as well. Like they've got the
whole thing.
the transsexual perspective as well. But there's none of this uglification. There's none of this like, I don't know, man. I feel like all the other media I've seen, it just portrays beauty as this like thing that's well, to be shunned, and that
But not going down this path though.
But no,
talk to
that's
me.
what I find really refreshing about
You
it. It
find
just
it
seems to
refreshing.
have just a regular depiction of femininity.
But what about
as well?
Let's skip that. Talk to me about the 2 or arguably 3 main characters in the show.
Yeah, so you got
Your introduction to
the young kid who's like terrified of everything all the time.
Shimon.
Shimon?
It calls him
Yeah,
he's technically Simon, but they
Simon.
call him Shimon. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just terrified of everything all the time, trying to find like the fact that the thing looks like it's powered by. One thing I've picked up on, it looks like the machines are powered by belief to some extent. It's only when he believes in himself they can power it up. And it was what's the tall guy's name?
Kamina.
When he like just jammed it into its head, and the guy like thinks he's like being a fucking idiot. Like he jams the Simons into his head,
Oh,
but
right.
it actually does fuse and it works. And it's
Yes.
that self belief, like the machines operate through self belief almost. That's the vibe I'm getting from. I don't know if that goes anywhere from that.
It's interesting because it's like it talks about how they're always digging. They're
Yeah.
always and Simon's he's like
He's
the
a drill,
he's got a
basically.
drill, and then the
He
key
found it stuck in the ground.
the
as
key
well.
to start it up is like
drill
it
as
looks like
well.
a drill, right?
Yeah. So they're all trying to get to the core, maybe on the planet as well.
Well,
I wonder.
what do you think about the dynamic between Simon and Kamina?
Like the brotherly relationship between them.
Yeah, because obviously
I think it's self-confidence and self-doubt seems to be like the dichotomy between the two of them.
yeah.
Right, someone who never doubts themselves, someone who always doubts themselves. I wonder where it takes it, and if it does show that there is like a downside to Kamina's sort of self-belief, that if you take that too far as well, there's pitfalls with that way of thinking. Because I've run shown Simone like most time you think to yourself like, stop being a little bitch, just get it done. Whether is that just me seeing it as like a 31-year-old man? I'm like, why is he not just getting the shit done?
Maybe.
Imagine if I was like a teenager watching it, I'd relate to him a bit more.
What do you think, like, the dynamic between them? Who's your favorite of the 2?
One will be Kamina, I reckon, yeah.
Because he hypes people up, right?
Hypes people up, but also he has that self-belief.
Yeah.
Fake till you make it type of thing.
He's cool as
Yeah.
fuck, eh? I definitely like him. I can't remember exactly what happens between the episodes from 1 till 6.
At the start of the first episode, it shows you what I'm assuming is the future, and then it goes back to it.
Yeah.
Is that the 2 of them still?
You just have to
Fuck.
watch. I don't want to tell you too
He
much.
says Kamina, I'm pretty sure, but we'll watch that first episode again.
You could go back and watch it, but I'm not going to tell you
Yeah,
anything
fair.
about it, and you shouldn't look up anything about that
I haven't
show.
seen anything yet.
But dude, it gets so good. So in the last episode, what happened?
That was the one where they fight the other guy and they fuse each other together.
Because they both got gunmen, right?
Yeah,
Now?
they both got, but they fuse together and they like.
Oh, he jams the gunman into
you,
his
you
head.
think that he's like broken the thing down, but then they actually do fuse together and it
That's
works.
right. And who are they fighting? Are they
that
fighting
white-haired guy?
white-haired guy? Oh, yeah, that's
with sharp, non-human looking teeth.
yes, yeah. And what did you think? Did you see the conclusion to that fight?
Yeah, they beat him. I think he goes flying away. Does he? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
He runs away.
It's cool how they power up, right? And
Yeah.
it like makes that cool mech.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. I want to see what the like, as much as I'm into that, like I don't really watch too much anime, so the fight stuff's all cool. But I want to see what the storyline is. That's my main barometer that I'm going to test it against.
It was a really interesting because where you're at right now, it seems like you're not fully like bought into it, but it's only 25 episodes
Yeah.
and it jumps so big. You're like, what the heck is going on?
No, I'm enjoying watching it, but I'm always, yeah, as I said before, I want to see where the storyline goes. I have book series that I've been like, for me, if you can't take your narrative to like a nice conclusion, it undermines all the enjoyment I've had in the narrative up until then.
You're gonna love it.
So I might be like one of the worst people to review something, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I think you're gonna where
Which-
you see where this goes and how it keeps jumping and the ending. And I think you might even want to watch the movies as well
Yeah.
because the movies, whilst I think you get more out of the anime, the movies animations on the final sequences of a few things is so fucking good.
Who's the girl end up with as well? That's fine. There's a love triangle happen there as well.
Yeah, because
Flirts with
what's her
everyone.
name? I forget her name.
Me too as well.
But she's kind of like Simon is kind of like got a thing for her, but then Kamina is kind of like the cool like older brother kind of guy. It's this interesting dynamic that's happening.
I like it.
I'm gonna have to watch a bit more actually. Yeah, dude. Keep watching because
I do need to probably head off soon.
Bounce.
Well. Yeah,
We'll call it there.
Easy.
All right, so thanks everyone once
Awesome.
again.
Tuning in, guys.
It was
Thanks for
a
having me on.
bit more quiet this time, but that's okay. It's no big deal. I think next time let's try and write down some topics and have a structure.
Yeah,
I think
so.
that if we have a structure,
You need to have a separate. We need to make. I think the Dropbox. I'm gonna make a Dropbox document that we can both access, and then we just have like both put ideas down throughout the week, and on the Friday, so like we'll go through them and we just pick the best ones out. You pick two, I pick two.
Yeah.
And it's probably better for me not to know too much what yours is going to be about and vice versa, because then me explaining to you is also explaining to the audience and vice versa as well.
Yeah, but then
to some extent, a little bit. I need enough about it to have a conversation.
I don't know, because if we're both on top of it, then it gives an interesting perspective on two different sides.
Yeah, that's fair.
One thing I noticed this podcast as well is that I'm asking you a lot of questions and then you're talking, because all of the clips generally seem to be coming from you.
Yeah.
Where you're not really asking me.
You ask me wild shit sometimes. That's all.
I know, but you
my friend was like, explain communism and fascism. I'm like, this motherfucker. Like a fucking philosophical major over here.
I feel like one of the things to make this better is that you need to take some ideas and ask me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm just constantly asking you, and there's no. I'm just sort of sat here just asking you questions.
You're a good interviewer though.
Yeah,
You're very good at it.
I'm good at asking, but you need to utilize me a little bit too.
I think a part of that might just be the dynamic of how we started as well, which is me like coming in to talk about the COVID stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I think when you have if we do it this way, where we both have topics, like when you bring your topic on, I will like drill in to understand that as well.
But I don't think one thing is that I don't think we necessarily always have to have a topic. We should have some topics, but I think we go down like too much seriousness. There's not enough jovialness. Do you, like we don't laugh and joke too much, right? It's like it needs to be a bit more. We did talk about this though, didn't we? We did say that it needs to be more like humor based on it, but it seems to go down this really serious route all the time. And I guess the reason I'm talking about this on the podcast is because it's cool. It is going to be cool for you guys to look back on this and see how
it changes how we go as well.
Yeah, because at the same time, we don't have guests on right now. So it's us trying to figure out a way to make content that actually keeps people engaged and we don't just keep going down the same topic. So it'll be cool to look back after episode 20.
I'm open to everything, but for me, the stuff we talk about is just the stuff I also want to talk about. So
I know,
which is good. It's good to still put some effort into shift that elsewhere as well. But like at the same time, it's always good to have that organic backdrop. Like today's episode, we had no real ideas to go into, no themes. But we've always got enough of backdrop. We could talk for like 2 hours pretty comfortably. Still.
We can do that for
good.
sure. I think the one thing that we didn't do today is we didn't go into the Reddit forums. We need to start doing that. But anyways, all right. Guys. Thanks everyone. Cheers. Take care. We'll see you around.